In this video, I'll show you how an n8n workflow can read simple Google Calendar events created by text or voice and use keywords to instantly trigger any scene in Home Assistant, transforming your everyday schedule into a seamless smart home command center. All right, let's kick things off with our trigger, the Google Calendar node. This is the entry point for our entire automation. First, under Credential to Connect With, you'll need to authenticate your Google account. This gives n8n permission to read your calendar data. For poll times, we'll set this to every minute. This tells n8n to check for new events every 60 seconds, which is the fastest polling interval available, and ensures a quick response. Next, for the calendar, I've created a dedicated calendar called Test just for this workflow. I strongly recommend you do the same to avoid your personal or work events accidentally triggering your lights. And most importantly, we set the Trigger On condition to Event Created. This setting ensures a near real-time response, making it feel just like a natural command. Now, here's a crucial tip for this specific trigger that's different from many others. I've tested this thoroughly. It doesn't matter if you've just created a new event or not. If you tried to test this by clicking Execute Node right here in the editor, it will fail and tell you no data found. This is normal. The only way to make this work is to first activate the entire workflow and then go and create a new event in your Google Calendar, whether you create it by voice through the Gemini app or type it in manually. And importantly, because our trigger is Event Created, the workflow will run exactly once for each new event. It won't keep running just because the event exists on your calendar. Okay, so our trigger has captured a new event, but how does n8n know what to do with it? That's the job of our first if node. Think of it as the intelligent router for our commands. Inside the configuration, for the first value, we're using an expression to target summary. The reason we use summary is because when you create an event in Google Calendar, the text you type into the title field is what n8n receives as the summary. We then set the operation to contains and the second value to our keyword work. Now, using contains instead of equals is really important here. It gives us a ton of flexibility. It means we can create an event titled Start Work or Work Focus Time, and as long as the keyword work is in there, this condition will pass. So if this node finds our keyword, it sends the signal down the true path to activate our work scene. If not, nothing happens down this line. Once our if node gives the green light, the signal travels to our final node, the Home Assistant's Call a Service node, which I've renamed to Work Mode. This is the action step that turns our digital command into a real-world change. Inside the configuration, for the domain, we'll select Light, and for the service, we choose Turn On. But we're not just turning it on. Under Service Attributes, we specify exactly what we want to happen. First, we select the entity ID of our target light. Then we add the Brightness PCT attribute and set its value to 100. This tells Home Assistant not just to turn on the light, but to set it to full brightness, instantly creating the perfect environment for focused work. But what if we don't want to work? That's where our second parallel if node comes in, which I've labeled if2. It receives the exact same data from our Google Calendar trigger, but it's looking for a different keyword. The setup is nearly identical to the first one. We're still checking the event summary, the operation is still contains for maximum flexibility, but this time, for the value, we're searching for the keyword rest. This node allows our single trigger to be multi-talented. It can now distinguish between different intents, routing the command down a completely different path to activate our relaxation scene. And when that rest keyword is detected, the signal flows to our final action node, another Call a Service node, which I've renamed to Rest Mode. The configuration here mirrors our Work Mode node with one critical difference that changes everything. The domain is still Light, the service is Turn On, and we're targeting the exact same entity ID. But under Service Attributes, for the Brightness PCT, we set the value to just 20. This single change is what defines the scene, creating a soft, dim, and relaxing ambiance. All right, Our entire workflow is now built. The logic is in place, the scenes are defined. The last thing we need to do is bring it to life. Up here in the top right-hand corner, we'll click the Public button to activate the workflow. Now for the real test. I'll open my Google Calendar and create a new event with the title Start Work. And now we wait, because n8n is polling every minute. And there it is. The work mode workflow was just triggered and my light is now at 100% brightness. Perfect. So what we've really built is a powerful framework. By creating a Google Calendar event with a simple keyword, either typing or just using your voice, you can now trigger any specific scene you want. We've only set up work and rest, but by simply adding more keywords and paths, you can control countless automation scenes, all from a single, scalable n8n workflow. By the way, I've bundled everything from this build for you in a guide. You can find that link waiting in the description. I'm always looking for new ideas, so share what you'd like to build together in the comments. Every like and subscribe truly helps the channel expand. Thanks for watching.